I just have a couple of slides. So just a few questions. Why commemorate? These Cabrillo has been commemorated as a first, the first to European to discover or see California. But the Chumash had discovered it 10,000 years earlier. So I'm not sure about that first. Anza is credited with opening the land route, bringing civilization and Christianity. Sorry, there's a typo there. But he only followed indigenous roads, and they were already civilized, and they already had their own religion. Dana is credited with spurring interest in American interest in California, but his narrative is really mostly about a life as a sailor, and that's really how it was mostly received. But he does go out of his way to disparage the Mexicans, and in that way help to justify the American conquest. So the question is, what are we commemorating with them? And these paragraphs go into that a bit. I still want to save plenty of time, but I want to say at the first half of this century, of the 20th century, these histories, the commemoration was written by the conquerors. So they wanted to, since the Americans were the last in the line of the conquerors, they were the Spanish, the Mexicans, and the U.S., they wanted to justify what they'd done. And these are the precursors of their bringing Western culture to California. But this is also something that Gene O'Brien calls firsting and lasting, trying to name the conquerors as the first somehow, kind of resetting the clock so that the actual people who really owned the land are erased. And also lasting, the myth that there are no more Indians, the vanishing race, which is quite wrong because there are thousands of indigenous people in California still, and Chumash and Tongva, and they've never gone away. So, so we also asked, so what is being commemorated and why these people represent that? And then I thought it'd be useful to distinguish that from whom we are commemorating. Cabrillo's past deeds are really probably the least defensible. Anza made possible so each one of these individuals has his own pluses and minuses. He made possible the settlement of hundreds of thousands of settlers of California, and many thousands of Californians today are descendants of those settlers that Anza brought to California. And Dana spent most of his career fighting against slavery and for the rights of sailors. He played a very minor but supporting role in the conquest of California, but his words in his most famous book disparage an ethnic group who make up a major portion of Los Angeles.